Hey, welcome to Starter Trek The Progenitor episodes. These are the episodes that kicked it all off. This is back before producer Jesse joined us, when me and Andrew and our producer Kevin would talk Trek behind a paywall with little fact-checking, even less structure, and virtually no regard for who might ever hear it. No, seriously though, these are really close to my heart because we do cover some of the best episodes of Star Trek, and we're just dunking Andrew right in. This is actually our very first episode. We covered TOS, the pilot, Where No Man Has Gone Before, and it's great. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Yeah. Enjoy. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start the Trek. I don't know where to start the Trek. Hello. Welcome.
When's the last time the three of us did like a sub-op thing like this together? It feels like a minute.
It's been
Both of you do a lot of separate stuff, but it feels like this feels unusual. We haven't done this.
It might have been the time I took mushrooms and you guys watched that Talking Heads movie.
It's not making sense. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin, it feels like we don't do a lot of three-peat style sub-op things because we're trying to keep your lift low. We're like, what can we do that doesn't
I'm
involve
excited about this, though.
Kevin. Yeah. Are you still, after watching it? Okay, good.
I'm more excited.
I went, not to spoil it, but first 5 minutes I went, oh, fuck, what did I, and then as it went on, I was like, no, this is great. So
I feel like we have plenty of material. This is Starter Trek.
Woo-hoo. Yeah.
The show where we're gonna catch up on Star Trek in packs of 5.
Yeah.
We're watching all 5 pilots for the series, the original series, or the
original
what
and legacy series.
And legacy series. Mm-hmm.
Great.
Everything before Disco.
I just want to say for the record, we initially were maybe going to call it Sampler Platter, and then nobody liked my pitch of Starmpler Platrek. So
I really didn't like it, and I don't like it again.
So that is.
You also said Trek in it, and I liked that though. So I don't know. We still have options.
It's so hard to come up with a name for a Star Trek show that hasn't been used for something else.
Sure.
Like I'm sure Starter Trek is somewhere in the ether, and all I can say is this is behind a paywall. Everybody get over it.
Yeah. Well, there's I would say a reasonable likelihood some of this will see the light of main feed day. But for now...
While doing heavy lifting.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, if this is going to see the light of main feed day, then we have to do a little more table setting.
No. We're good. I think we paywall it. Sorry, go ahead, Tony.
Oh, okay.
No, I was just going to say we should do a little more table setting just of what to expect here. So,
great.
Obviously, Kevin and I got to work on the official Star Trek podcast with our friend Paul F. Tompkin for a couple of years, and that was great fun. And I personally missed talking about Star Trek, and Kevin works with us, so he has to do this.
He has no choice. And
Andrew
have always wanted to be Timu Paul F. Tompkins, so
yeah, you need some suits. You need some different suits.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
So yeah,
different
I thought
earth tones.
I thought we would do these sampler platters where we, instead of trying to tackle all of the canon and all of the series or try to go in order, I thought we'd kind of bounce around the original and legacy series to give people kind of an entry point into Trek. So this first chunk of 5 is just all the pilots.
All the pilots. Also, though, I do feel like this is a thing. I feel like multiple times I've asked you, hey, what Star Trek series should I watch? And you've literally been like, no, just watch these episodes or whatever. So I do feel like you're a nice repository for like, you can get the point, or you can get the high points and the low points. And I think I have found that really nice in my personal life. So we're sharing this with the listeners. Are we gonna? So we're gonna try to do a thing. We're gonna see how this goes. Where I have watched relatively little Trek. So today we are discussing. Oh my God, where the fuck is it? Today we're discussing the original series Where No Man Has Gone Before, which already is possibly controversial because it is the pilot of Star Trek, the original series. But
Could I admit something I just did? I was
Yeah.
kind of hoping that by me saying it first, it was just going to be the rule that was the episode we all watched.
Oh, sure.
Because we had some discrepancy of if we watched the right thing.
No,
It's very
I like this.
confusing.
But it's what is it? Episode 104 on Paramount Plus, 103 on Amazon.
Look, this is commonly called the second pilot, but it's also the fourth episode or the third episode, depending on what streaming service you watch it on. And we'll explain all that and why later. But what we first want to do is just give you kind of a quick, Andrew's going to give you a quick plot rundown just in case you haven't seen it in a while. You can also pause this and go watch the episode if that'll make your listening experience more enjoyable.
You'll like it. You'll like it more if you just watch it.
Yeah.
But if you're someone you're like, I've seen it, I just don't really remember it, we're just going to kind of give you a little primer from Andrew's point of view, and I'm going to hop in.
As someone, here is the plot beats of Star Trek, the original series, where no man has gone before, either episode 101, 103, or 104, from a man who has watched very little of the original series, doesn't totally understand what's going on, has some questions. I'm going to try to keep this brief, though. Okay, so the cold open, we're doing a normal captain's log in outer space. The Enterprise are following up on a distress signal from a old-ass ship, I don't remember how long ago, called the SS Valiant.
200 years earlier.
200 years earlier, okay. And that goes into a scene where they're playing literal three-dimensional chess.
Hell yeah.
Kirk and Spock are playing three-dimensional chess, and they do a thing that I'm going to talk about more later, but it is a trope that I hate, which is the logical guy getting beaten by the random guy. And...
Sure.
And
can I tell you a quick back and forth that Leah and I had at the first 5 seconds of this? Andrew, I'll be Leah. Can you say this theme song is actually the theme song that we used on the podcast?
This theme song is the theme song we actually used on the podcast.
Oh.
Oh, Kevin, you've just described an experience I feel whenever I tell anyone anything about Star Trek.
Oh.
Everybody goes, cool.
Cool.
Okay. Oh, really?
All right.
Wow.
All right.
Crazy.
Damn, that's crazy.
You got the baby right. I'm going to bed. You got the baby.
Okay, all right. You guys are trying to derail me from my warp.
Sorry.
Warp
Go fast.
Warp 2
Warp 2?
Beats. I don't know. Is Warp 2 good? No.
It's not fast.
Okay, Warp 9. All right. And then they beam aboard. They're told they can beam aboard a small object that's too small to be like a life vessel. And it turns out it's essentially the black box from the SS Valiant. It's like the data recorder. And they go down to, I believe, what the fuck is it called? The beam bay.
The transporter room?
Transporter room.
Yes.
I tried to look for a more sci-fi thing.
It's okay, keep going.
That's all it says. And the recorder starts broadcasting, so Kirk puts the ship on red alert. I do know that the elevator, and into Act 1, I do know the elevator is called the turbo lift, where Spock and Kirk are entering the elevator, and the later, soon-to-be revealed villain, Gary, runs in. And we get a little backstory that Kirk and Gary know each other, and that Spock complains about Kirk's random chess play, which again, we'll talk about this later. They're on the bridge. I know that the next thing's called the bridge. And all right, this is where I got a little confused. There's a lot of exposition happening all at once on the bridge. They're looking at the screen as they approach the galaxy's edge. And I don't know whether they're entering or leaving the galaxy. I don't know if it totally matters. And we meet a person named, I wrote down Dr. Dana, but then I turned on the subtitles near the end, and I don't think her name is Dr. Dana, but she's the psychiatrist. Daner. Jesus Christ. So mid-Atlantic Dr. Dana. And
Hey, Daner.
Hey, Daner. And she's a psychiatrist who's new to the ship. And she's there to just make a psychological study. We get some analysis from the recorder. I didn't write down what that was. Pervasive sexual harassment throughout. Not terrible, but not nothing.
Mostly coming from Gary.
But
Gary
yes,
Mitchell.
Gary. And Gary, I know he's Gary Mitchell. I'm still going to call him Gary throughout.
You can.
And let's see. And so they are reading the black box recorder from the Valiant. They find the ship couldn't leave the galaxy, which I believe is where the Enterprise is also in the same situation. We find that the captain of the Valiant was looking for information on ESP. We get a little exposition from the doctor about what ESP is. And then we get a little cryptic message that maybe the captain of the Valiant was looking for a way to self-destruct the ship. Scary. They get into the edge of the galaxy and hit a force field. I will also say at this point, Spock says deflectors and sensors in like the weirdest way possible, and it seems like he's the only one. Later. Okay, that's a thing. They get hit with an ESP field, and a bunch of people die.
I was shocked that there were like 8.
They just killed like
casualties.
8 people.
Like,
yeah,
wow,
right away.
That's wild.
Spock, in general, my performance note for Leonard Nimoy is I feel like he's a lot more shouty than he is other times I've seen him.
Early Spock.
And we end Act 1, Gary has white eyes now. Okay,
yes.
So now into Act 2, the ship is fucked. What just happened? And we learned that only of the people that got knocked out, only the 2 people with ESP have survived, and that's Dr. Daner and Gary. I don't know where this happens. I assume on the bridge still, but I wrote down they argue about the dangers of ESP. I also have a thing here where I'm like, for a logic guy who was like really confounded by a random chess move, Spock seems pretty chill about the existence of ESP. We go into sickbay, and Gary now seems to be psychic. He's got white eyes. He's acting a little bit psychic. Spoiler alert, he's going to get more psychic. We get some exposition. Gary and Kirk have a bit of a past, and we see him reading. They basically have these little tiny microfiche machines, and he's reading on that, which is also very funny.
Yeah.
That in the 60s, they were like, in 2,000 years in the future, it's still going to be microfiche. It's just going to be real quick, which is fair. That's probably how things will look to other future when they see our sci-fi. We hear about their past in the academy. He set Kirk up with we get a little bit of character detail that Kirk is like a real poon hound. Later on, we're back in sickbay. Gary's by himself, and he pours himself a cup of water using telepathy. So he has telepathy now. And then he goes back to reading. Oh, sorry. He has telekinesis now. Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you for Tawny's patent. Thank you. And then on the bridge, we see that Kirk and Spock are spying on Gary's reading, which is sort of a pervasive technology thing in Star Trek that I will continue to have questions about. But no one ever has any privacy in Star Trek, which is weird to me. Let's see. Back in sickbay, we see that Gary is like super duper healthy, even though he got hit with the psychic bomb. He talks to Dr. Dana, shows he can change his body with his mind, including, I guess, shutting his heart off.
Kill himself.
So he can go full dead. He kills himself for a second, causes Dr. Dana to lean in and check his pulse and check his heart with her ear, and he then comes back to life and it ups the sexual harassment a little bit. We then get a little more exposition. His friend Lee from engineering, who I think is a one-off character, but Gary's friend Lee comes into sickbay to say hi. And by reading his mind, Gary figures out what's wrong with the ship because he can see the memory that Gary had. Anyway, I got confused here, but there's something wrong. Essentially, the Enterprise is out of gas.
Yeah. There's a corrosive element in the is it the dilithium? I don't know. Yeah. Basically, he's like
Tawny's moving her glasses in exactly the way you think she is as she's explaining what's wrong with the.
You guys are in your bag right now. This is awesome.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay, and then we go into a Star Trek trope, which I know, and I feel like this is like a structural thing that just has survived. But it feels like at the midpoint of Act 2, and this is just Trek, structure. Everyone's in the conference room. So we have a conference room scene. This is where my note here is: here's where they debate what's up with Gary.
How do we fix Gary?
We meet Scotty. We learn a sort of insane thing, which is that someone has been apparently like telekinetically fucking with the ship's controls, and that Gary's face has been appearing in the monitors. So I think it's Gary. And we also reveal that the doctor, Dr. Dana, has realized that he can do all this shit with his mind, but has been hiding it. We get, I believe, Sulu's only line. And I think this is early days, and it is what it is. It was the 60s, but Sulu's only attribute is that he's good at math.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
In the pilot. I
They
suspect
moved him.
Okay. Yeah. Here's a question. I don't know a ton. I don't remember where everyone is, but I do recognize that Spock and Sulu have different color uniforms than I'm used to, and I know the uniforms correspond to their jobs. So I assume there was just like a quiet reshuffle at some point of what everyone's role was. Okay, Tawny's sighing in a way that...
Because also, full disclosure, I don't fully know the original series as well as I know the other ones. So some of this stuff...
It happened at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But
just
they
curious.
did move positions from this pilot to the rest of the series, as you know. Sulu was in sciences. Now he's mostly the helmsman through the rest of the show. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. We'll save this stuff for later. Keep going.
That's fine. Anyway, Sulu goes from good at math to being the best driver in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Just smashing the Asian stereotypes in half. Okay. After the conference, Kirk tells Spock that he wants to keep the fact that Gary is a telekinetic monster a secret from the rest of the crew, which is fine mostly. There's only one or two pretty severe consequences from this. After the meeting, they're still in the conference room, and they have, I think, the big philosophical debate, one of the big philosophical debates of the episode, which is, at this point, it's pretty clear... based on what happened with the Valiant, which is there was clearly a psychic space madness happened, and where things seem to be going, which is it does seem pretty clear that Gary's going psychic space mad. And so Spock pitches to Kirk the idea of marooning Gary on a nearby planet, which also is a place that has space gas. So sort of 2 for 1, they can fuel up and they can maroon Gary there. It's an uninhabited planet with just like, I guess, an oil. It's like a honor system gas station there.
Yeah, it's a lithium cracking station, I think is what it's called. And it's a place where because what happened is their impulse drive got damaged, which is the power thing that you use instead of warp. So they aren't able to go anywhere. So they had to go to this. He's like, we can go to this planet and it's a 2 for 1, like you said.
Gas up. Yeah, we can do 2 things. Get gas. And ditch
leave
the
this
scary
motherfucker.
monster.
Yeah.
It is then the escalation of this conversation is a little hilarious to me, because at that point, when Kirk's like, we can't maroon him, Spock's like, all right, well then we have to kill him, which is insane. And then, so one of the core principles that I think maybe they thought they were going to lean on more, and maybe it's an original series thing, but I think it gets less and less, obviously, into the Star Trek that I know, which is the heart versus logic debate gets set up really strong here. Kirk literally just says, like, why don't you have a heart? And Spock fires back, well, why don't you have a heart? I can't just kill this guy. I've known him forever. And Spock was like, well, the captain of the Valiant, the ship where everyone died, probably felt the same way. And so we end Act 2 with Kirk being like, okay, either way, we do have to get gas. Let's go to Delta Vega.
Yeah.
Act 3. We get our away mission, which I think is also a pretty structural Star Trek Act 3 thing. Away mission time. So their goal on the away mission, 2 things: get crystals, and also maybe maroon Gary on this uninhabited, lifeless planet. Gary's definitely now telekinetic. Oh, maybe I fucked this up. Maybe he was just telepathy, and now he's telekinetic.
Yeah. Now he did the water thing.
Okay, all right. So now he does the water thing. I'm sorry. Yeah. So 2, he reads the doctor's mind. Gary's now telekinetic. In the sick bay of the Enterprise, Kirk, Spock, and Dr. Dana come to talk to him. They have a little discussion because Gary's psychic now, he knows that Kirk is considering killing him and that Spock definitely wants to kill him. But surprise, surprise, Gary could throw electric mind beams now. So Gary, clearly starting to go power mad, zaps both of them. But then as he makes a little speech, he's like power mad and supposed to be all powerful, but he loves sort of pontificating and walking around and not paying attention to anything around him. Somehow in that moment, Kirk manages to assault him and they drug him.
Yeah, they just hold him down and jam a needle in his arm, like you do with a god.
Which is so funny. It's so funny that they go.
Where do we get to how they defeat him?
This motherfucker's so powerful. He's a danger. Yeah. He could like take over the ship with his mind. To got your ass, and they sucker punch him. Basically.
Do you guys like that scene in the Avengers where they pinned down Thanos and gave him NyQuil?
Yeah. It's really that. Yeah, the power levels of what's going on here are a little fuzzy to me, but I think it's fine.
Sure.
They drag his unconscious ass to the transporter bay, and once again, we have a little scene that feels like maybe it was a little bit for runtime, but he wakes up and they just drug him again. So they sort of double beat.
Well, it feels like he woke up so that he could remind Kirk about how he saved his life. Wasn't that where that happened?
Oh, yes. That is probably true. Yeah.
To deepen the heart versus logic thing that we talked about.
We see a little bit of who Gary was.
Yeah.
But then they drug his ass again. Okay. Okay, so now we are on the planet. I wrote down the name of the planet, but now I forgot it. Vega something? Shit. I'm not going to be able to.
Delta Vega.
Delta Vega, DV. All right, so now we're on the planet. On the planet, even though it is supposed to be a completely automated, unpopulated planet and refinery, there is a prison. So they have Gary in a prison cell, in a human prison cell. And Dr. Dana
this is where he reminds him about the darts. Sorry, I'm out of order. This is where he says he saved his life from those poisonous darts or whatever that were going to kill Kirk.
Is that... I feel like it happens a couple times. I didn't write it down, but that's not the important thing.
Yeah.
We have a little discussion now about people with ESP who are there calling espers, which I don't think comes back later in any of the shows, but maybe I'm wrong. Versus humans.
I don't recognize it myself.
There's sort of like a trope that's pervasive in sci-fi now about like the idea of mutations leading to like new, better humans. So there's sort of talk about whether Gary's human or a better than human. And then Gary shorts himself out on the force field, and he's briefly back. This is where at least one version of like reminding Kirk of his humanity happens. But then he comes, his space madness returns, and he's back even psychically stronger. The next little portion contains, to me, one of the better sight gags I've seen in a while in Star Trek, which is we're back on the ship. We see that the fuel is working. And then I think, is it Scotty on the ship talking down to whoever's on the planet? So Scotty's talking, and as they're winding up the, hey, thanks for getting the gas conversation, Scotty goes, hey, by the way, did you get that pulse rifle we sent down that Spock requested? And Kirk's
phaser rifle,
what phaser rifle? And then Spock just enters holding like an enormous gat. And it's hilarious. And Kirk is like, yeah, we got it. It's so funny to me. It's like, it's such a like Kirk's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Military grade assault rifle. And then his boy just wanders in with like, it's literally like, again, we are on a gas run. Essentially, to me, the like real world version of this is the version of we need gas and our friend is too drunk. Maybe we should drop him off before he like ruins the vibe. And then your other crazier friend is like, I have a gun. Yeah. And that to me is what happened
in night in San Jose.
Okay. So as we wind down Act 3, Spock is still, we got to kill this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And this is where he fires back. He thinks that Dr. Daner is loath to do what needs to be done because she quote unquote feels. Which I think is not a great color on Spock, and to me it feels like they toned some of that down later. But in another move, Kirk reveals that he's asked. Maybe it happened I think at some point we see him ask whoever the away team engineer is, like, hey, by the way, can you rig up this whole planet to explode with all the fuel here?
Yeah, I think it was
in case.
Kelso again, Lee Kelso. I think it was like, hey, like no matter, like,
Just
we
in
need a
case.
backup plan to.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave this guy here, and it's important to note that Delta Vega is uninhabited. It's a completely automated planet
Yes.
and facility, so they're not endangering any other people. But they're like, in case he gets so powerful, he like does something crazy. We want to just be able to nuke it.
We have to be able to nuke it from the sky. They do use, and they're way ahead of their time. They do use the Avengers style thing of, oh, good, we evacuated every single person from the city. Now it's time to fight the bad guys.
Yeah.
So yes, we've made it clear, even though we've pretty casually murdered like I think 9 people from the Enterprise, no civilians are in any danger and have ever been in any danger.
Well, I'll talk about that later. Keep going.
Okay, so end Act 3. As we begin Act 4, which in Star Trek is the final act of the show. I guess it's a little tag, but there's the final act of the show. The landing party, so the ship is gassed up. So the landing party, most of the people getting the gas is coming back. We're sort of skeleton crew on the ground. Gary is getting stronger psychically. Kirk goes and visits him. I forget, I didn't write down who he's talking to, but Kirk basically, even though Gary's psychic, Kirk also expositions in front of him that Lee Kelso has rigged the planet to blow up. Which is, to me, seems unwise because that's when Gary uses telekinesis to strangle Kelso with a power cord. With an extension cord.
This just appears behind.
Yeah. Which to me is an amazing effect. It's sort of like a 1960s like snake, like a cobra charmer effect.
Yep.
But he gets so the failsafe is gone. And then let's see, I probably wrote down too much stuff here. Dr. Dana wants to stay on the planet with Gary. And somehow I'm not clear exactly what happened here. Is that she secretly turned off the force field? The force field is gone.
I think he's finally just powerful enough to deactivate it. That's how I read it.
He zaps Kirk and Spock somehow through the force field. I don't know how it got turned off or if it just isn't there for him anymore, but he's more powerful. He does not kill them. So Kirk and Spock wake up, and I have written a character named Other Doctor.
Dr. Piper.
Dr. Piper wakes him up and gives a little exposition that Gary and Dana have wandered off into the sunset. We cut to, Kirk then takes Chekhov's rifle, not Chekhov engineer, but Chekhov, and goes after them, leaving orders to blow the fucking planet up. If he doesn't come back, I kind of miss what happened here.
Yeah, he's like, if you don't hear from me in 12 hours, blow this shit up. Warp out of here.
Yeah. We're in a clearing of rocks, and now we see that Gary is just like, he kind of is a god. Here's the thing. He says a lot of megalomaniacal shit, but he's also pretty right, I feel like. He what does he do? He
makes a little apple garden.
He makes a garden, yeah. He grows plants out of nothing.
I was really hoping she was going to go, oh my God, mulch.
Yeah.
They did put mulch on the soundstage.
He impresses Dana with some mulch. My next line I wrote is Kirk finds them and gets psychic attacked, which I'm trying to remember. There's various like styrofoam rocks get thrown at him, but also Gary does not kill him. So Gary, he keeps kind of sneaking up after them. And Gary doesn't seem too worried. Dana's becoming psychic too. I missed how this happened, but somehow she wanders off from Gary, and Dana comes and talks to Kirk.
He tells her to go. Oh, this is important.
Oh, he tells her to go. Okay.
Dr. Dana is like, her powers are slower on the uptake than Gary's.
Yeah.
And so she's like, hey, I'm just starting to get psychic. And he's like, oh, we have a visitor. It's a very foolish man. Because Kirk's scrambling around the rocks. And then she goes, oh, wait, I can sense him too. That's cool. I kind of want to go talk to him. This is fascinating. She's just hopped up on I'm psychic now juice. And Gary's like, okay, yeah, sure, go talk to him.
So
but then when she talks to him, Kirk is like, you came to talk to me because you're still a doctor on the inside. He gave her a little Hippocratic oath type. He's like, you came to talk to me because some part of you still wants to stop this.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense. They have what I wrote is they have a philosophical discussion about power, I guess. Is what I wrote down verbatim.
And humanity.
It's a little like absolute power corrupting a human, and he's not a god, and who could be a god?
I also love he's like
humanity.
He uses her, the fact that she's a psychiatrist. He's like, be a psychiatrist for once in your life, like for one more time in your life or whatever. He's like, you know what people can do with unchecked power. You know how dark our thoughts can be.
Yes.
And I thought that was a really cool, what a crazy way to end an action movie, is to be like, think about all the fucked up patients you have in therapy. We can't let this go on.
Right. This is what turns her a little bit. Let's see. But then Gary arrives. He psychically throws the rifle across the screen, I guess telekinetically. And then I will say genuinely, my second favorite psych gag of the episode, he does a little speech and shows the thing he has psychically created, which is a grave, a dug grave with a headstone for Kirk, which is so unbelievably arch that it is just amazingly hilarious.
This is for you. In case you were unsure.
Your name's on it.
I wrote, Gary has gone power mad. He has the Force, which I actually should have looked up when Star Wars came out. But I do feel like this is
75, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So this is not, but what it could have been is sort of a rejoinder to, look how much the Force would make people fucking nuts. But essentially, he's a Jedi, or I guess a Sith, because he's evil. But he uses his telekinetic powers to force Kirk to kneel and like pray to him.
I was loving this,
which is such an insane image.
Whips his head, and then his hands go together, and he's like, "Oh, I'm praying."
It's so intense.
I'm begging you.
As he does this, Dana's powers come online, and she psychic zaps him. And I wrote down, Dana and Gary have the world's slowest psychic battle. Yeah. So they're sort of zapping each other back and forth. And while all of this is happening, Kirk just punches him.
Then the biceps come to work.
What I do like is it is sort of like that scene in Indiana Jones where the scimitar guy does like all this crazy shit and crazy show offy shit, and Indiana Jones just shoots him. It's a little bit of that. There's so much like psychic, the Force kind of shit happening. And Kirk is just like, fuck you, man, and just socks him, which is great. Gary and Kirk fight. This is another thing I kind of lost track of, but I think I can guess. Kirk gets the upper hand and is about to brain Gary with a rock, but he hesitates. And I couldn't figure out, I assume he hesitates out of like conscience and humanity.
Because he apologizes.
Gary uses that. Okay, Gary uses that opportunity to psychic get him. Gary punches him a bit and then gets a bigger rock. I kind of think he should have gotten the same rock. And this is another thing that happens, which is like a little, I think maybe wouldn't, like I would maybe just want a second pass at this, but he doesn't kill Kirk with the bigger rock just because he misses when he's throwing it. Yeah. Is that what happened? He just chucks it, but Kirk dodges it.
Kirk like dives out of the way, right?
Yeah, dives out of the way and tackles him into the grave. And while Gary is in the grave, Kirk grabs the blaster, shoots the cliff face above, and caves in the rocks above it.
Yep.
I missed when this happened, but somehow...
I need to say one line from the Memory Alpha synopsis. It says, Kirk scrambling to the discarded phaser rifle is able to blast the rock face above Mitchell, sending him into the grave and entombing him, therefore ending Mitchell's threat forever. How do we know that?
Yeah.
That's what I was
Big Rock defeats God?
I think it's been pretty clear he has no problem moving around rocks with his mind.
Yeah.
So...
just picturing him and they're like, God dang it.
All this means is there's still time for a Strange New Worlds episode where they go back to this planet and a guy... Oh, not Strange New World. Whatever. There's some Trek episode where they can go back to this planet. He's there. A man can be in a grave. A god can be in the grave. God in a grave. somehow in this, I don't understand where Dr. Daner got all messed up, and she apologizes for going having space psychic madness, and then she dies. Kirk whips out his cell phone, gets beamed up, and then I assume this is actually would be the tag, but it doesn't seem like there was a commercial break. We're back on the bridge, and there's like a wrap up that's basically Kirk doing his captain's log in front of everyone from the chair, which again essentially is like the boss of the CEO of this organization doing performance reviews in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Which is a bit much, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But he gives them both like a commendation, like killed in the line of duty, honorable discharge, although he murdered one of them and caused the other one to be dead. But it wasn't their fault. And the emotional tag at the end of this is Spock reveals that he feels bad for Gary too, because Gary didn't ask for this. Gary didn't ask to go space mad. It just happened to him.
No.
And that's the journey. That's one of the big journeys, is Spock going from we should murder this motherfucker to I feel bad, but I'm glad that you murdered this motherfucker.
Or did he? He's just under a rock.
Okay. So how did I do for what we agreed before this would start would be a 5-minute synopsis?
I actually
loved it.
think you figured out the format of this show and we're never changing it. That's
Agreed.
what we're doing. So unfortunately, you have to write down Andrew's beats for every episode we do.
This is fine. This is fine. This is how this is how I watch every TV show when I am doing it for a podcast, is I watch it once and then I watch it again with a notepad. And then I watch it sometimes with the sound off, with subtitles on right before the pod starts. So I don't mind doing this, but this is the format. What does Andrew think happened?
And look, you were right. You got a lot of stuff. Okay, so first of all, so some corrections, clarifications, and some bits of trivia. Again,
yes.
I need to stress, just in case we release this from out of the paywall and some random people listen to it, I don't know the original series like I know the other Treks.
Yes.
So everybody chill out.
So we're already, by the way, this is just going to be, so the next episode of this show, Tawny's already going to be more comfortable.
A little more comfortable. The original series is just hard. It's beautiful. I love Spock, but like the chances of you turning it on and seeing someone slap a mini-skirted woman are very high.
Yes.
So, it can be tough. So the reason for the pilot kerfluffle, the reason why we didn't even know which episode to start with. So initially when this show was pitched, they wrote and filmed a pilot episode called The Cage, and it starred Captain Pike, number one, who was played by Majel Barrett, Gene Roddenberry's wife, and a bunch of other people. And the network said this pilot is too heady, it's too cerebral, there's not enough action. As my favorite line from Dolomite would say, no titty, no funnies, and no kung fu. That's basically what Paramount said to Gene Roddenberry. And so then I think the project was going to be dead in the water, but Lucille Ball had an overall deal with her Desilu company and said, I really like Gene Roddenberry. I really like sci-fi. I think you guys should give this guy another chance. We have a loophole in our contract where we can produce another pilot, like freelance or whatever. I don't know how the contracts worked back then. But basically gave Gene Roddenberry another chance to make a second pilot where he made a version of this, basically. And then and that's what got the series greenlit. So that's why we call this one the pilot. However, when they decided to air it, for reasons I don't know, they aired it out of order. And they started with an episode called The Man Trap. And then they aired this one fourth. And I'm sure there's information probably on the very Memory Alpha I was just on that will tell you why, but I'm not going to get into all that. So that's why there could potentially be, if you say watch the pilot of Star Trek, the original series, you could be watching 3 different things.
We might go, and we might go back at some point. But I think this is a good introduction because, as I was trying to point out, I feel like a lot of things that are just what Star Trek is, I can see in this pilot.
Yeah, sure.
Conference, away mission, philosophical discussion right at the first act beat, that sort of business. I think what I think of as Trek, and I cannot stress enough, I don't really know, but what I perceive to be Trek, I think is all kind of in here in a fun way. Most of the harassment is confined to the villains, and there's room for more people. And I think as the show went on, there would be more complexity in it. But I think this does a lot of stuff. It's a lot of heady issues without it being like too difficult.
Yeah. And it has way more action and fighting, so that's why it got greenlit.
Yeah.
Than the original Cage pilot.
Here's the thing I wanted to bring up from the top, and this is because I feel like when I play poker, I wind up against these people so much, which is the people that think I'll just do something random and the logical person won't be able to handle it. That's my least favorite trope. Well, no, it's not my least favorite trope in media. I love it because it makes people who are random people think that that's a viable strategy. So in the cold open, Spock says, "I'm one move away from checkmating you," and Kirk does something that Spock doesn't expect, and it's not clear, but it's implied he wins the game. And Spock's like, you should have done this one thing. And the thing I want to say to all the random people out there, which I love that you think this, in real life, Spock is well aware that the other move is there. It's not that difficult to just envision what all the chess pieces could do. So I love this trope because it just presupposes that all it takes to throw off like a logical person is one literal suboptimal move. And there's another word for suboptimal moves, and those are called mistakes. So you could make mistakes, but the idea that Spock would be like, what, is very funny to me. And everything else is just window dressing.
I can't wait for you to watch more Star Trek. There's so much. There's so much. You noted that Spock pronounced the words sensors and deflectors strangely.
What the fuck is happening?
I asked this question. I can't remember. Sometimes in my Trek career, I can't remember what is information that's been known widely and been shared publicly, or things someone has just told me in a bar, like a Jonathan Frakes or something. So I believe I had this conversation with Mike McMahon. I don't know if it was publicly or not, the creator of Lower Decks, but when we got to an episode of Lower Decks where we were making fun of this trope and saying sensors for some reason, I asked Mike why, and he said early on, these were such new words because there wasn't, this wasn't a computerized society.
Oh, sure.
Like even in the pilot, when Kirk's like, Mr. Spock is going to run it through his computer, it was like, it's because this guy, science communicator guy, has the crazy communicator thing that none of the rest of us really have access to, is the implication. So the word sensor, no one was talking about sensors. Like,
That makes sense. Of course, they didn't have fucking
pronunciation
sensors.
Just wasn't in existence, and so so that's
of course, of course, that makes so much sense. Right, I forgot this script was
1966.
This script was produced on a typewriter.
Yeah, of course, yes, and it was messengered to everyone's house.
Yeah, that makes sense. So why the fuck would they know what a sensor is?
Somebody brought it on a bike to the president of Paramount, I think.
That's right.
Lucille Ball had to answer the door in her robe and take a chunk of paper out of an intern's hand.
Yeah.
The Lucille Ball thing is so cool to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I just keep thinking now, like, telling someone, like, did you know that Liza Minnelli is responsible for Star Wars?
You know what this means? I think for our not our next pack, but at some point in this series, we need to watch the pilot of I Love Lucy as a Trek episode.
Ooh, I'll do that. Yeah, she's the godmother of Trek.
Very cool.
I think I knew that, but I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay, so wait, you also brought up another thing that you found it interesting that they made clear to be like, this is an uninhabited planet because we definitely don't want to murder any people on this planet, yet they had no compunction about wiping out 9 crew people on the bridge in Act 1. And the distinction I will make, that doesn't strike me as odd because the entity that wiped out the crewmen was not Starfleet. That was this weird ESP power. So yes, the show, Star Trek, will portray deaths, but what they're never going to do is have our main guys kill a bunch of people.
That makes sense. Well, I mean, the other side of it too is like no civilians got killed. Like no one who
that's true too.
didn't sign up for this for the possibility of this got killed.
That doesn't always stay true throughout all the series, but I'm just saying, like, at this juncture, it was very clear that it was like, well, Kirk and them aren't going to kill civilians.
Yes, of course.
It was still so shocking to me when they died. Like I said, the first few minutes, I was like, oh boy, this is a little dry. And then, within 5-10 minutes of that pilot episode, you're just watching Kirk react to like hearing like 8 casualties. And I was just like, wow, this is... I was kind of
very real.
Given like 1966, I was a little surprised. I was like, wow, we're just jumping into people getting killed.
But I think to me, the analog of this, I don't even know how it was pitched, but the analog is literally like closer to like, this is like a submarine captain or something, right? Like, it's not like crazy pants that like people die on this ship when a big psychic burst goes through. The other thing that I found interesting was that there was no, like, this is just a thing that happens in the world or in the universe. Like there's no like, I'm the psychic hive mind and I'm out here corrupting the Garys of your ship.
It's just a crazy entity.
Yeah, it's just, but it's just like an accident. It's just like it's some shit that could happen to anyone.
Space be crazy.
Really? Yeah.
It's like when you said that Spock wasn't really reacting to the fact that this guy had these crazy telekinetic powers. I'm just like, space. Like, he's probably seen way wilder shit than that.
But that's what I mean. Is the guy that's like, no big deal with someone is telekinetic, he's not flummoxed because you moved your rook weird. That's all. That's all. It's more just the chess side of things. I'm just like, yeah, man.
Because it was an illogical move. He's flummoxed by things that are illogical. Come on.
I'm just saying. He knows that there might be. He disagrees with things that are illogical and wouldn't do things that are illogical, but he's aware that illogic exists and that humans do it.
I know.
That's what I mean.
Some of the best parts of Spock are seeing him be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, listen, I'm not, I understand that thematically this makes sense. I'm just saying, as a trope, the way that I see this at the poker table is someone will make a terrible play and be like, you could never see this coming. And here's my response. I can always see it coming.
Okay, all right. Now you're just grinding your axe against the weird losers you play at the freaky poker place that has lead in the poker chips.
This isn't about Star Trek, bro.
This is about your lead poker chip casino dealings.
It isn't.
This is going to be a divisive segment called Andrew's Hyper-Specific Gripe.
Okay, listen, we're developing segments as we go. What does Andrew think happened? Some knowledge from Tawny. And then we cap it off with Andrew's hyperspace-specific gripe.
Yeah, perfect. I love it. We've done a show. That's incredible. I don't have anything else to say about this episode except for this did remind me that I do love so much of the original series. And then when they were being weird about women, it also reminded me why I don't rewatch it a lot. So
I actually do have a question.
Yeah,
I do have another question, which is that, because this was an early, like a second pilot episode, I do feel like the sets feel a lot more like rooms than later on. It feels like they start to feel more like, for instance, there's actually a lot of shots where the camera is essentially where like the ceiling would have to be. Like, you're looking down with way more headroom than there should be on a spaceship.
Yeah.
Which I think felt odd to me. It made it feel more like a set, and it didn't feel like Trek. Like, I feel like so much Trek is shot from like eyeliner or even a little below, because the camera would just be in the ceiling unless we're outside. But whenever you're on the ship, it's like lower, and that threw me because I'm just like, what the fuck, are we in the ceiling? Was this a security camera? Why does this sick bay have so much space?
I am sure that this was recorded somewhere differently, and I don't know the answer. Or filmed somewhere different, and I don't have the answer to that. But
yeah,
that was a question I asked Leah as well, because there's a shot where they like go in the elevator, and it's like a one shot, and then the elevator opens, and then they're at like a different spot, and I'm like, did they move them to like open up to a different set? Because it looked like it there was not like a cut. Like you see
No, maybe.
the door close in one spot, then they talk, and then the door opens, and then they just walk right into like
Oh, cool.
the main
I didn't
bay
notice that
area.
effect, but yeah.
I realized that, okay, so I have a little bit of information. This was filmed in the same place that The Cage was, which was at Desilu's studios. But the rest of the series was moved to Desilu's other facilities on Gower Street.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
everything else you've seen from the original series looks different than these sets.
So that makes sense because on the other side of the fucking wall of the bridge is that factory where Lucy made too many chocolates or whatever.
Exactly. The chocolate smell plagued filming. They had to shut down filming for a couple of days.
I Love Lucy of this is so weird. Okay.
That's awesome.
All
Yeah.
right. So for next episode, we are going to be watching Encounter at Farpoint
Yes.
from The Next Generation.
Yes.
So
A question for Andrew before we get on to that. On a scale of 1 to 5,
Ooh.
after watching this, how likely would you watch more episodes? 1 being you would never watch another episode of this series, 5 being you would watch every episode.
I think I am distinctly less interested in the original series.
Yeah,
Sure.
same.
And this has not really increased it, but it has not diminished it. I guess it's slightly increased it. So 3 or 4, 3.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
It increased it for
3.5.
me, but I'm still... This is my very controversial take. To me, watching this was like listening to the Beatles, and that I went, wow, shit, this was good. But then I listened to 4 or 5 more songs of the Beatles in a row, and then I go, I think I got it.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have a similar thing of like, I was pleasantly surprised by how much I
Yes.
enjoyed this, but I could see me watching 4 more episodes and then going, all right, let's move on to the other.
Yeah. I will say I'm excited to move on to TNG
Yeah.
Sure.
because that is a pace of filmmaking I sort of prefer.
Yeah. And if I had to guess, judging by how much of this we're going to do, Kevin, you probably won't exceed that number for this series. I just there are some real bangers that we should watch in different 5-episode chunks, but
Great.
But yeah,
I just want to. I'm working on two 5-episode chunks. One is trying to figure out all the gambling ones, and number 2, I'm realizing we should do a 5-pack of just the ones Andrew remembers because I think I can only think
the
of
junk
5.
drawer pack.
Yeah, just the like. Why the fuck do I remember? Why is this one buried in my memory bank? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll learn something about me. Okay, this was the first episode of Starter Trek. I think we figured out our format, which is a thing that a lot of pods do before they record.
No, I think it's literally perfect. I think as the weird Dole Whip-esque runoff of the pod direct of the original, the official Star Trek podcast, I think this is a perfect supplemental.
What if this gets canceled and
content.
Desi's like great granddaughter or Lucille's like great granddaughter brings it back? Like,
Got to. That's the only way that there's justice in this universe. Galaxy? I don't know.
Tune in
We don't have to
next
say
week.
podcast. Tune in next week.
Yep.
Encounter at Farpoint.
And this one-
Find it however you want.
I promise is actually the first episode of The Next Generation. There's no weirdness there. So there you
Amazing. All right.
go. Bye.
Bye.
This is suboptimal.
Starter Trek is produced by Jesse Earl, edited by AJ McKeon, with original music by Jay Israelson. For bonus episodes like Andrew and Tawny's Hangout Show, Yo Can We Live, movie watch-alongs, and even more Trek pods, visit suboptimalpods.com. It's the optimal place to subscribe to Andrew and Tawny's podcasts. This podcast is a production of Fine Alpinist Ranch, an artist-run film and media studio building community in the desert. To learn more or become one of our ranch hands, visit finealpinistranch.com.